Hello and welcome to A Pint of Cthulhu. I am Matt and I have my co-host Jay with me, and today we're interviewing the creator of Bunny Borg, and I forgot to ask, what should we call you, good sir?
Oh, you can just call me Peter. That's fine.
Peter. Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for joining us. This is a very interesting concept, I must admit, Bunny Borg, but we will start with our go-to first question. Jay, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So if a pint of Cthulhu, as the concept, was a drink, what do you think it would be?
A drink. What do I think a pint of Cthulhu would be?
Yeah, like if you ordered it at a bar. And if you want to add what you think Bunny Borg would be as a drink.
Oh, okay. Pint of Cthulhu. I feel like that would have to be a noxious otherworldly mixture. I'm not up on my spirits, but I imagine it's something where there's gas bubbling out of it. It's like purple. Probably when it gets served, like the lights in the room dim. Maybe the gas coming out. Maybe it's not even like dry ice. It's like cigar smoke or something. So I'm gonna say like. What would be really I'm just gonna say 50% purple Mad Dog and 50% Jägermeister.
Brutal.
Oh, that would be Oh, you said pint too. Oh wow. Yeah, that would be. Yeah. Clear your calendar.
Well, about that, the usual thing we do on our holidays each year is to try and make as many of the drinks as we reasonably can. Of course, if someone says that pint of Cthulhu would be like peat bog and sulfur, we can't reasonably be drinking that. But we do try the suggestions. And what do you think a Bunny Borg would be if you ordered a Bunny Borg?
Right. Okay. So that one must be more. I think a little more friendly, maybe. I'm gonna say. Yeah, maybe one of those traditional beers before like yeast and proper, beer recipes existed, where they would just heap every kind of herb and spice and berry into just a mash. There's like a term for this, and I can't remember what it's called, where it's like pre-beer beer.
No idea.
We'll have to look it up. But yeah, so. This would be, very earthy, a lot of plant bitterness, but also your berries. Maybe like a sour, like halfway between a sour and like a dark wheat beer, maybe.
Nice. Let's say I take that over the Cthulhu pint.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So, tell us a bit about yourself, if you will, please.
Yes, so I'm Peter. I'm from the U.S., as you can probably hear, living in Sweden, the birthplace of Borg games, apparently, southern Sweden. So, kind of live and work here and play around, which is why we're nearly in the same time zone. And, now my latest adventure outside of the 9 to 5 is trying to spread as many mischievous rabbits into the world.
Yeah, fair play.
Hell yeah.
And what about you guys?
Oh, well, turns the camera around.
Yeah.
London-based, born and bred.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Fife-based.
Not much to really say, honestly.
Nice.
No,
Yeah.
not many people ask us that one.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be this way. Yeah, we've actually. Well, I was going to say we've only recently gone to TTRPGs. It's been 4 years.
Yeah.
We literally got into it for the podcast. Speaking of which, what TTRPGs do you have experience with? I'd assume Morkborg, right? But D&D, Pathfinder, anything like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, working backwards, yeah. A lot of Morkborg. Like, I DM that one the most, I think. Well, besides Bunny Borg now, because, yeah, that's like its own thing when I'm on call to make it happen. Shadow Dark fairly frequently is a favorite at, like, the convention circuit with some of our friends. A little bit of Knave, which was another OSR one. and a lot of classic D&D. I think the first time I played it was like 3.5, like 10 years ago or something. But then I took a big break in between. I listened to a lot of Pathfinder play, but I actually haven't played it myself. I feel like I'm probably missing some. I'm very curious about the Daggerheart system, but I actually haven't had time to read up on it yet. So I think that's where I'm at. Oh, I've got a bunch of Dungeon Crawl Classics books as well. So I've played some of that as a pinch hitter to show up as a rogue who gets killed and then leaves, whatever.
Fair play. So out of all that, what made you decide to start creating your own TTRPGs with Bunny Borg?
Yeah, good question. It was kind of an accident. So I'd been playing a bunch, or DMing Mork Borg, and I've always just been a very creative, artistic person, making music and all kinds of different things. And so we were at Gen Con in Indianapolis and walking through the Alexandria RPG library, where they just have like a bunch of old, paperback RPG core books for people to check out and look through, and a lot of kind of like historic original printings and stuff like that. And they had a copy of Bunnies and Burrows out. I'm not sure if you've heard of that one. I still haven't played the reprint, but this one was from like 1980. It's insanely crunchy. There's humongous tables on how to handle like rabbit combat. That's kind of amazing. And somehow it just hit me like, oh wait a minute, if we took that game, but the world is already like a nightmare post-apocalypse from a rabbit's perspective. So Mork Borg and Bunnies and Burrows could make a Bunny Borg. And then I just never stopped writing after that. So.
Sounds good. I have heard of Bunnies and Burrows. I think in the context of a couple of like more modern TTRPGs that've been like the Red Wall, the Watership Down kind of thing, where it's like a sentient animal playing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But most of them don't address the fact that the rabbits are kind of like fucking dying all the time and having horrifying visions and fucking getting gassed and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Bit more fun time adventure for most of those. So how about you tell us a little bit about the game?
Right, yeah, no, that's a great question. And so, exactly as you're kind of getting to, I wanted to kind of split the difference, or like try and make the adventure right on this razor thin edge between like a cozy RPG where it's like, animals hopping around and, trying to steal a carrot from a angry, or a napping farmer or something like that. Maybe he's got a lazy cat you have to sneak by, to the other end, which is where, they're like living in a Fallout level post-apocalypse where there's, pollution, gases, there's like weird muck everywhere, there's cars, there's drones, there's lawnmowers. And so I kind of wanted to create a world that had all of those, which would let people kind of skew their play whichever way, suits the moment, or suits the story, or suits their whole group's play style. But they all exist in that world. So that was kind of what I was trying to capture so far.
So, just quickly, with comparison to Mork Borg, what's the scale of, I want to say gore in a way, considering Mork Borg and Bunnies?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I tried to write the game in a way that is sort of encouraging a lot of the sort of atmosphere and vibe, but some of the details, what you might end up encountering at your table, that kind of comes down to the last second decision by your DM. So it's not built in necessarily, but it does encourage a lot of like the idea that bunnies are mostly trying to dodge being attacked. Like, there's not a lot of like armor or, kind of enduring, numerous damages and stuff like that. But there could be things like, losing an eye or losing a limb, and bunnies, they're brave, robust little creatures, so they'll trek on anyway. But if you get hit by a car, that's like D20 damage. So, so try not to. But
well, that must have, since I first read Bunny Borg, I was like, this is either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be gory as anything, or it's going to be a bit more light-hearted. It sounds like you have gone in that middle ground, which, good on you, honestly. I say good on you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if you're familiar, the cartoon, like Super Happy Tree Friends.
Yeah.
Right, like that would be one direction to go. Yeah.
Oh yes.
So.
Speaking of which,
that was a blast from the past.
Oh
Yeah. It's been a minute.
Speaking of which, what books or films or other games, aside from Borg, obviously, and Bunnies and Burrows, have sort of inspired you? Or what have you referenced and looked to?
Yeah, I mean, especially during the research period. I mean, obviously, Watership Down was huge as far as, really making that connection that, the bunnies in the real world is kind of its own fantasy world from their perspective. Getting on a boat is magic, or, stuff like that. So that was one, and I've been reading a lot of nonfiction as well to try and really connect to a lot of, what are the rabbits' personalities like. So there's some good ones called The Life of Rabbits, which did just an exhaustive history, which is actually fascinating, just how humans have interacted with rabbits throughout, all of civilization, basically. Whether it's food or pets or, symbols in companies or, trinkets and toys for babies, and just kind of culturally, as well as, myths and legends and stuff like that. Because rabbits come up in Irish folklore and a lot of indigenous cultures folklore, both North and South America and everywhere. And well, rabbits and hares, I'm kind of lumping them together a bit, but they're technically different species. But so there's a lot of really cool books like that. There's even one by Chloe Dalton in the past year, I think. She's a British author who wrote a nonfiction book about a hare while she was in lockdown during COVID at her summer house, and how she rescued. She have
an orphaned, an orphaned.
Yeah. She rescued a little hare, and then it came back and gave birth to other generations, and it's just a really lovely little book. The way she kind of captured that sort of connection you can have while also being in touch with that sort of wilderness at the same time. So that was a really good one.
So with Bunny Borg, how true to the Borg rule sets are you going, or have you had to deviate off and create your own rulings for it?
I would say it's 75% faithful, so it should be playable, as far as kind of the sort of standard setup, but there's some little tweaks that I think enhance sort of the world and bunny flavor, much I think I feel like every Mork Borg spin-off I've read adds a fifth attribute. Mork Borg has 4, but most of us seem to add 1 back in. I added wisdom back in, separate from presence or intelligence. I don't remember what Pirate Borg added, but I think they added 1 as well, and Cyborg also. So there's some small deviations, but they're kind of bolted on top, so they don't interfere with running it like Mork Borg style. It's more extra little doodads and details, I think. Or you check
agility, presence, toughness, spirit.
Spirit, yeah. So Pirate Borg added spirit. I added wisdom. Yeah, yeah. Whereas we know what D&D has 6, or is it 7? I feel like it's at least 6.
Strength, Dex, Int, Wiz, Charisma,
Constitution,
yeah.
Yeah.
6, but I don't remember if there's another one.
I think you got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Keep want to say agility, even though I know that's not one of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, how did you approach the world building of the game? Because obviously, rabbits, because the players are playing them, so going to be a bit more intelligent. Do they have like societies? How do they view humans? Are we just fucking kaiju to them?
Yeah. I hadn't thought about the kaiju connection, but basically, yeah. Especially the intro and venture on the first one, which is so the term I use in the world is that rabbits are aware of humans because obviously we're everywhere, but obviously we're kind of big gangling things that are almost like less competent than kaiju, though. Like obviously very dangerous, but most of the time we're kind of like stumbling around, being awkward and not graceful, like getting in and out of these weird machines that they don't know what they are. We're not doing important things like nibbling on grass or like hopping around. So they're like, oh, those poor big idiots. But they also know we're very dangerous. So the term I have the rabbits use for humans is lumbers or lumber, because we're just like gangly, floppy things. So kind of kaiju-esque, yeah, kind of like keep at a distance. But they're where there's little children here and there. There's some you might get along with. They might hand out some treats, and that's kind of where the stories can diverge. I think, and some of the main class differences in Bunny Borg as well. So the 6 different classes, and on one end you have like maybe the most traditional rabbit, the Seed Whisker, which is kind of like your druid-esque one. So they're all about nature. They don't understand any human language. They don't want to be around any human technology. They just want like nature stuff. Whereas the other one on the other end of the spectrum is the Warlock, and the Warlock grew up in like a sewer pipe or like a test lab. And they actually kind of like know how some human technology works. They can like read some of our words. So those are kind of like the spectrums of bunny classes, and they might view us, a little differently.
That's actually quite interesting. So, in line with the Warlock thing, we're effectively like their patron. Their D&D patron is just like the fact that they have knowledge of humans. Do the bunnies have like magic, or is this like more understanding human tech is the magic?
Yeah, good question. In the case of the Warlock, the understanding human tech is the magic, because human tech is, like a kind of, these invisible forces that are, dangerous and tough to be reckoned with. But bunnies sort of have their own, tricks and concoctions and stuff that are not magic per se, but like little intuitive abilities that, maybe are things they hide from us. So there's, whether it's finding certain seeds that give them extra energy, or I do think I have it gets a little fanciful, of course, for fun, but I think like the shaman has one possible ability where they can like rub their little paws together and create like static or like a little like mini lightning bolt or something. So yeah.
Nice. Well, the sound of that.
Yeah.
static bunny.
Yeah. So I think we've had more than one play group where the Warlock was like siphoning gasoline from a tractor, and then the shaman was trying to like light it on fire. So people get pretty over the top pretty quickly. So
That seems quite open in gameplay then. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I'm liking that more and more.
Yeah. So, what kind of experience are you trying to give players with this game? What kind of thing do you want to do? What kind of vibe are you wanting to set?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think if I had to pick one word, it's wonder. So it's which has room for so many different types and flavors of experience, but yeah, to try and try and evoke that sense of imagination and curiosity, which is already taking place when people play games together, but really kind of kick that up a notch and really emphasize that through both the hopefully joy of playing cute little bunnies, but also the kind of introspection that comes with looking at a similar world to ours through a different perspective, and how that turns it into like a dark fantasy almost. Or you might ask some of my players, and they might be like, I don't know, I just play a cute bunny. I don't give a shit. So, yeah. But as long as everyone's having fun, yeah.
So what were some of the challenges you faced developing this game? What was the difficult bits?
Gosh, yeah, there's always challenges. Right. At least for me, and what I'm, happy for is the idea wasn't one of them. Like, as soon as I hit on it, I was like, okay, I feel it. I feel like I'm invested in this, and this is resonating with, things I know I can make work. So that at least wasn't it. But yeah, challenges of bringing stuff to life. I mean, things like, I think I did the first year of book drafting in one program, GIMP, just like an image editor, since it's so image heavy. And then in order to actually publish properly for, the publishing company, I just switched to like, an Adobe platform and just like relay out 100 pages all over again. Like that was annoying. So I brought it upon myself, but yeah, that's a pain. Figuring out how marketing and stuff works. Finding artists initially is pretty hard. I mean, and that was for the initial book. That was before this latest wave of AI stuff as well. I know stuff is hard for artists out there, and finding some who are both a good fit but also available, have time, and yeah, just getting everything to line up, as with any creative project. I'm happy, yeah, lots of great people I reached out to who are doing great out there, and I'm happy with who has worked together, but yeah, definitely challenging to find each other out there.
Well, it's good to hear you used real artists and not the AI.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. Too many people are taking that shortcut these days, and it's just makes it not worthwhile.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't have that spark. Doesn't feel fun to me. Like if I see someone at Gen Con with an RPG that they have exclusively illustrated using Microsoft Paint, I will buy that. I'm sure it would look janky and with your little your little shapes and stuff. Like, I'll buy that any day over AI stuff. Because even with Microsoft Paint, you can feel someone was like,
trying,
putting in their energy into it.
Yeah. At there's the TTRPG con, tabletop con in Scotland every year. I've only been to it once, and there was someone who had done literally like stick figures with little triangle bodies for the entirety of their their one-shot booklet, and it was great.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I mean, I think I've played my fair share of games that way for one reason or another, and it's always turned out fun. Like my buddies in Colorado who kind of introduced me to a lot of the space, and I'm just kind of following in their footsteps as far as the best practices in the gaming world. I remember play testing their first game, with like little post-it notes, and when you have like 100 post-it notes for like a deck builder game, you just scribble the name on it and you draw kind of like a potato, and you just try, is this character happy or sad, and like that's it. And still lots of fun. And I think even at PAX Unplugged over a year ago, our buddy who normally DMs Shadow Dark couldn't make it, so I ran Bunny Borg at the last second, but I didn't have any pieces for it, so we were using like Splenda packets for like enemy Roombas, and everyone just drew like a little bunny picture on like a little like square inch piece of office paper we stole from the hotel, and we're sliding that around the table and stuff. So yeah, I love it. I hope you got that stick figure book somewhere.
Do you? Did you buy it?
I didn't buy it. I had spent through. So their table was like in the back corner. And I had
Oh
spent
yeah, yep.
fucking £90 on purely on like one shot books already. Not even counting the amount I'd spent on dice. So I just
Oh yeah,
justify.
the dice will get you for sure. Yeah.
They had like a fucking, you know, those little like coin machines where you put like £1 or $1 or whatever in, and you get like a random set of mini dice, and I got like 5 of them because I just let's go gambling, you know.
Yeah. Everyone's got their poison. Yeah.
I'm looking at mine right now.
Yeah.
You're fucking. See,
Right
I'll
in front of me.
I'll spend £90 and be like, wow, that's a lot, and Matt's like, I bought a £110 source book.
Yeah.
Third one this week.
Third. Yeah.
Yeah, not doing that. So, getting back on track, what has been the best thing about making Bunny Borg?
I mean, I would say the best part is exactly my favorite part about sort of the gaming and creative community, like as a whole. You know, whether it's game designers or players or artists or, you know, people doing podcasts and stuff like that. You know, everyone's got like, you know, their own energy to bring to it, and just getting to connect with all those people, you know, kind of feed off each other's inspiration and energy and creativity. Like, I love going to conventions, and you know, I've got my little table, I've got the little books laid out, and when you see someone, you know, pick up the book and start flipping through it, and I just kind of not like stare at them, but I kind of try and keep an eye on, like, you know, what is there a certain page where you can see in their face they're like, oh, this, you know, really hits me just right. Just like that stuff is awesome. So that's been my favorite.
So, is there anything that you had to cut from Bunny Borg, either because you just felt it didn't quite fit, or because it was getting too chunky for what you wanted, that you really wish you could have kept in?
I don't think so. At least in the sense that when I knew I made that first book, I knew I was going to be making additional like adventures for it. So I think there were some ideas that I was like, ooh, that's a good idea too, but I don't know if I can flesh it out, you know, in the first book. So I don't think I've had to cut anything yet officially. It just gets, you know, pushed into, you know, other areas maybe. So yeah, I'm trying to think what no, because I fit the patrons in the first book. Yeah, no, I think I managed all right. I mean, I've got it's kind of a weird jump, but I've always been like creating projects of some kind, like since I was a teenager. Most of them happen to be like death metal albums, but my own sense of like how to gauge when something is done, even though this is a new medium, at least that sense has been well exercised. So I think I managed that all right so far anyway.
So this is the second edition of Bunny Borg then?
Right, or so this is the second book, so this will be a second published adventure, I guess, basically.
Would people need both books to be able to play?
Yeah, so the Kickstarter right now is for the new adventure, and you would need the core book to play that, at least in the, you know, traditional sense of Bunny Borg anyway. Obviously, you could take the adventure, slap it into Mork Borg, and, you know, with a couple magic rolls by the DM, you know, that would work and stuff as well. So
Like expansions, yeah?
yeah.
So I'm just looking at the shop, and they're fucking the t-shirt with the giant tractor taken over by rabbits is very very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, he did a great job. Yeah, no, that's like a nice fella out in Indonesia, and he did all like the kind of the enemy art in the original book, but not just like the sort of technological enemy art. So yeah, the tractor, like drones with spikes coming out of them, and like a motorcycle with a rocket launcher on it and stuff like that. So yeah, he's great.
Did you get the same person? Because I see you're selling like miniatures for the classes and rabbits too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we don't really see that. We see like art and we see the books being made, but it's rare for someone to actually get miniatures made for their game.
Yeah, so those aren't made custom for this game. That was kind of a nice coincidence. But I really wanted to have something, on the website or in the Kickstarters to remove as many barriers as possible for people to play. Like, it's all about giving the players the tools, giving the DM the tools. So the more dice or pieces you can have, so people can just like get to playing as fast as possible. But those minis are made by Bad Squidoo Games in the UK. She specializes in a bunch of like war game, like a lot of like World War II war game type stuff. But she also has a bunch of little pewter minis for like Gaslands, and she has like little guinea pigs and other cute animals just for fun. And so when I found it, I was like, oh yeah, can I wholesale like 1 million of those things? Those bunnies are perfect. So that's one of the many delightful partnerships we've found so far.
It's a nice way to make the game accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you have plans for more expansions in future?
Yes. Yeah, so I got I don't know if you've looked at the kick or the stretch goals I've announced today, but there was I don't know, or if you've seen the Matrix meme going around where it's like he's holding out the red and blue pill, and he's like it's like if you take this pill, it's finish your old artistic projects. You can take this pill, it's start a new one, and then it just and then Neo eats both. And he's like, did you just eat both pills? And yeah. So I do have new ideas already in the works. And I'm already pestering artists about them. And one of those ideas is going to be that zine listed on the stretch goals there.
Bonus Adventures 6.5. Yeah, wow, that's not too bad.
Yeah, so that's going to be kind of like a punk rock zine style.
Accursed D21.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Heresy.
Yeah, exactly.
How on earth are you going to get that made? I'm actually curious about that.
Well,
now.
there's some enterprising individuals already out there, especially who support like Dungeon Crawl Classics and their dice chain. So I've already got a supplier for D21. I don't have to make it myself, fortunately. But yeah.
Just have to find that. Oh, there's 22 as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a fun way, as a DM to, if you don't want to give out like the classic D&D advantage or something, or victory point, or what is it, whatever it is, where people get something they can cash where they can cash in for rerolls. Just be like, here, you can roll. If you're doing a backflip off the chandelier, you can roll this D21 instead. And then they still get a 1 anyway, but whatever, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. So, you've playtested Bunny Borg a fair bit, it seems. What feedback have you gotten, and how's it influenced your take on... How's it influenced you developing this expansion?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'm not sure I could point to a specific detail. It's more just like seeing how people are playing, like what they're excited about, what are they getting, what's coming across well. And that's always hard because, there's so many different age groups or play styles and different things like that. But yeah, really, it's more for the reaction. Like, is the gameplay, going forward at a good pace? Is it going smoothly? Or is there something not making sense? Does it accommodate all play styles? People who like puzzles, do people who like combat, people who want to, role play and act out their characters, or people who want story. Does it have something to offer everybody? So it's been a good process to kind of refine a lot of that. And I think actually the thing maybe it influenced most is trying to create good tables and reference material, like the inside of a DM screen. It's like, okay, yeah, what did people need to refer to, or inside of the back of the book, rolling for certain things or not.
So, with that, you were saying earlier about siphoning gas from a tractor. What has been some of the funniest stories you've had from playtesting and playing in general?
I mean, yeah, that was a pretty good one. I mean, that's pretty consistent too. It seems like usually, which is a funny thing. No matter what group I've played, whoever picks the warlock turns out to be like a maniac. Like I've definitely had some younger crowds, like at some of our local game cafes, where he was just asking me, like, can I every time he would look inside of a room or look inside of a hole or behind a rock, he's like, and I'm looking for a gun. I want to be a bunny with a gun. Is there a gun here? I'm like, no, there's not a gun there, dude. It's like, he's like, damn it. Okay, I'm gonna find I swear I'm gonna find a gun. I think he was one of the ones who set the gasoline on fire, by the way. So that was a unexpected level of violence has been consistent across many of the playtests. Usually not against other animals though, so it's fine. It's safe. I'm trying to think. Because there was one. I think there was one right at the very beginning. So at the beginning of the first adventure, it's kind of setting the scene. So the bunnies come out of the hole. There's all this like thunder and scraping and sound and like dust clouds, and they're like, what's going on? We're supposed to be asleep right now. And there's this giant tractor driving back and forth, and sooner or later, they might hide from that a little bit, and like a hawk comes down, and if a bunny gets too far from other bunnies, the hawk will try and pick them off and just to eat them. And there was an extremely elaborate series of, like, I think we battled that hawk, which is a part of like the initial scene. Like there's 12 other map areas, and they never made it to where one bunny was using their ability to like get larger, and they were trying to like throw another bunny into the air to do like a spinning back kick to the hawk. It turned into kind of like a Mortal Kombat 3 sort of like movie sequence.
Nice.
And they won, so
Very fair play.
Well, that about wraps it for us. Have you any final advice for any who'll try to create their own podcasts? Jesus Christ. Any advice for us? Their own games or metal albums, I guess. Also.
Right. I would say the most helpful advice I've seen floating around and have used myself and try to remember to use, it's a tough one, but it does apply to all creative endeavors, is... Okay, now I think of two things, as I was just finishing that thought. But don't wait until it's perfect. Just, put the heart and soul into it that makes it unique and special. And if you publish something that's 90% done, that's still fantastic. And then you can kind of iterate and grow, in the future. Projects that wait until 100% just never come out. So go for it at 90%, 80%. It's fine. We're all waiting to see what other people create, and we'll celebrate you for it. And on the similar note, find any other creatives that are overlapping or not overlapping or inspired or, in any way where you can help each other out, and that just kind of magnifies everything. Find good artists, find good everybody, and not only it makes my writing easier because then I know I've got good art, and then I help bring their art into the world, and they help my art, and it's a win-win for everyone. And then people at the convention get a nice, fancy book to look at. So,
Win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, finally, where can people find you? Absolutely amazing products.
Yeah. The easiest is bunnyborg.com. So that's always there, which is nice. On Instagram is probably the one I use most frequently, is Bunny Borg RPG, or I think it's Bunny_Borg_RPG. I'm also on Blue Sky under something similar. And of course, most current right now, for the next couple of weeks anyway, is there's, the Kickstarter. I don't know if I want to verbally say the URL, but there is a Kickstarter. You can find it from the
Links
website.
in the description.
Okay, yeah.
I'll put the link in the description.
Yeah, it's here it is. Yeah.
It's audio only. It'll be somewhere below us.
Right, I figured. Yeah. I just wanted to point.
Fair play. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you so
honestly,
much. Yeah.
It's good to see that Bunny Borg, the adventure, has managed to reach its funding goal, and hopefully you can get some of them stretch goals there as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Absolutely. Yeah.
That cursed D21.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm getting.
Right.
I'm
yeah.
going to do it.
Just, 21. That's not right.
And I'm going to find a way to, paint it to match one of your existing dice and just slip it in.
Oh, nice. Oh,
luck.
that's funny. Yeah. Just my dice feels a little off today. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I
Ladies
love
and
it.
gentlemen, once again, thank you very much, and all links will be in descriptions. Give it a back, give it a look at least, give it a play, and enjoy. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
All right.